Hello, Doug, and nice to meet you in virtual space. This will be video feedback for you. I'll begin with 4.1, which is the wireframes discussion, and then I'll work backwards through 3.3 and 3.2. The journal entry will be graded separately, and feedback will be in the rubric for that. Doug, these are very nicely done. They're exactly what wireframes should look like. And have you wondered why they're called wireframes? I mean, is it just because they look like they're made out of wire? I really haven't found an answer to that question. I know you said your preference was for the one on the right, which I'm assuming is this one. And yes, I think it looks clear and clean. Having perhaps a slideshow, I think that's what this is meant to indicate. You know, that's doable, and there are scripts or code snippets that you can look around for. Other students have successfully integrated slideshows into their web pages. I think it is effective, or even if it's just a single shot or perhaps some kind of slide carousel of multiple shots, but nice. I think, you know, where things bleed, with the fewer lattice-like white spaces you can create, the better. Also, although, you know, 5 links or 4 links is not that much, ranging down the side, in general, having a vertical navigation can be problematic, especially if the bottom of the screen is truncated. And you really never know where things are going to fall on, you know, depending on the device that things are being viewed in. But you do know that the upper left corner will always be the first thing that anybody sees. And for that reason, this is really prime real estate for a web page. The things that you want the viewer to see or to remember or to navigate to should probably remain up in that area. But that's just a suggestion. I've seen successful solutions that are completely opposite of that thinking. What else? You might be able to combine about with your home page, if you think that makes sense. And I say go with this, as you said. Now, I imagine this is what, footer information? Would that be like social media links and also, you know, HTML sitemap for CEO? Just curious. Doug, this looks great, and I realize I'm probably looking at week 4, in other words, this week's submission. But and for that reason, you might, you know, moving forward, think about ways of organizing your server. Let me make a few other remarks. I may have mentioned this earlier, but avoid using word spaces in your file naming. And 2, I realized that is also difficult to change after the fact, because then you'll have to change all of your links. But you can see that word spaces are showing up as % symbols, and that can really that can make your files unrecognizable under certain circumstances. So just, you know, avoid doing that. Now, let me not overlook the ample formatting, the use of photographs. I love the way that this image floats and, you know, remains centered no matter how you size it up. And then you've got a navigation going. You know, in the next week or 2, you'll figure out how to format this, and you'll be about 80% there. Do you have dummy pages? Okay, no, but you know, you've got placeholder. Well, yeah, you're imagining them, and that you have a navigation system at all is really to your great credit. Now, let me take a look at your code here. I had mentioned, I hope in an announcement of that business about host code. That's what this is. This is stuff that script that your web host will put on it. In this case, 000 web host. And but the important stuff is your coding here. Nicely. Wow. Did you actually do this on the 7th? Wow. Anyway, I see your ample commenting here. I see your style sheet here, and you've kept it isolated in a single, this is a good example of an embedded style sheet. So I guess you are at week 4. And you'll extract all of this and put it in an external style sheet, I think, next week. If not sooner, you're certainly ready to go. And here you have the unordered list with each of the pages with the URL, and looks great. Let me zoom in here because this is instructive to others. So again, your embedded style sheet looks great. Your sitemap or your unordered list looks good. That's what the UL stands for. I'm sure you figured that out. And then here is all that host code. Great job. Some formatting on using the corporate colors, I'm assuming. One thing to work on perhaps is successfully integrating the corporate typeface in your web pages. Doug, don't be alarmed, but I don't have OpenOffice installed, or actually I do, but apparently it's I have prohibited it from updating under my preferences. But I get the idea here. Here is your visual sitemap, and you've got it's fairly ambitious. I think for our purposes. It's great to consider a final site in its entirety, but I think you'll not want to have so many levels in your site or so many pages. You can develop it into that, but I think this is a bit ambitious for what we have left, 4 weeks or 3 weeks actually. But I get the idea. So you've got these 4 major links here. You might be able to combine the home page with About Us. For a restaurant, that wouldn't be unusual, I think. And good job though. Now this is what PH description or phone. Not sure what that is. Watch your spelling. I know you're probably abbreviating these things. Know that most programs, including like InDesign or even Dreamweaver, have spell checkers. It's very helpful. Doug, I'm a little confused here. Maybe when I go to your actual web page, it'll become clearer. But I don't see any difference between the visual sitemap that you submitted and evidence of your file management. Okay, so really the only evidence of file management that I have is in your URL, and I see some good things. I see that you've created a directory, although it's not named properly, but I won't harp on that. For town. I just want to make you aware that try to organize your files not only on your PC but also on the server, and your file structure should match. If you have any questions about that, don't hesitate to contact me. Doug, I think I'm going to leave it here, but great job, a lot of progress. You've been able to import and place images and also position things appropriately up here. So the next step is an external style sheet, and you can always work on your typography in the next couple of weeks.